moustaches. As we're on the subject of English gentlemen with moustaches, could you give us your impression of the average World War II British... Oh, dear. The average British World War II fighter pilot.
You're hilarious on the end.
Yeah.
That is a character. I'm going to... Someone has got to write a sitcom around Dave Mitchell's character.
You look like you're posing with a very successful team of kind of novelty Air Force band. You've just agreed to have your photograph taken with them for your birthday.
I know. I know you're not. But if there was if they'd invented gaydar instead of radar, I'm sorry to say that would mark high.
I'm ordering these helmets for my wife's birthday. Yeah.
I think in this war film, I think I die about 2/3 of the way through.
It breaks the heart of the audience.
Oh, yeah.
And inspires the hero.
Yeah. Everyone goes and kills a load of Germans as revenge for my death.
And I'm the old First World War hero with a gammy leg who runs and watches them come back and cries because...
I don't think Alan dies. I think you make it through... I think I die. You think I'm going to live.
You're dead.
And then right near the end, I die. I like Von Ryan's Express as I'm running towards
the train.
I get shot at the end.
Right.
I'm the plucky woman who was just supposed to do the radio. Who's been forced to fly one of the planes.
Yeah. You look as if you could do it. You've got your Sergeant Stripes there.
I look rather fine.
But how did the pilot talk? That's the thing.
Red leader to bus. We've got a lovely team today who will be furnishing you with the easy kiosk. Scratch cards, minstrels.
Like that.
Clean up in aisle 3.
Yes. What sort of people? I mean, that's what we're after.
Well,
What sort of people?
Yes.
Quite well-spoken
posh,
officer class.
Posh.
They're always posh. That's right. No. I think you'll find you're right.
That's the odd thing. They so weren't.
Really?
Only 30% of all British fighter pilots in the Battle of Britain went to public school. And in fact, of that 30%, they were mostly minor public schools, and of the Eton, Harrow, Winchester, or the top 13, there was only 8%.
Oh, it's just the actors that played them were posh, then.
That's the point.
Yeah.
In the war films, during and after the war, it's your Kenneth Moores and your David Nivens and so on, who were, you know, spoke like that, and it got...
Did the Germans know we were sending up the lower classes?
There we go, marvellous.
Here comes someone who has got no manners whatsoever.
But there's your Richard Todd on the left, who, of course, is playing a bomber.
Your actual Richard.
Yes, playing Guy Gibson there, I think. And there's, of course, David Niven from A Matter of Life and Death, by the look of it. And that's how people thought of them, with a moustache, only obviously Robert.
I mean, 30% of them having gone to public school, that's more than the percentage of the population.
Yes, which was only... Yeah, absolutely right.
So but just posher than...
But the idea that it was, you know, that posh is the first word that comes to mind, when 70% were state-educated.
Right.
Not privately educated.
But I mean, they didn't speak like Jordan or something, did they?
No, nobody did then.
No.
I can't believe it. There's no way we're going to drop the bums over that lot. It's a real bloody mess down there. Right, let them go. Look at that.
Oh, dear. 20% of all the pilots were, in fact, not even British.
Oh, Polish, not a Polish.
Well, quite a few were Polish and Czechoslovakian, but also from the Dominions and the Empire, the Commonwealth, Canada, New Zealand and Australia particularly, of course, and South Africa also.
And sitting on the plane at the end there is obviously hoping for a ride.
Is this right? Is this where you go?
I'm ready!
I find you get a better view from here.
What about modern pilots? Is it any advantage for them to posh up their accents?
Yes, because isn't it something that it's more reassuring for people? The classic British Airways pilot is that sort of as you was British Airways flight. I mean, nowadays you've got your Virgin, your Buzz, and your Go. Yeah. And those guys sound like they're on Radio Top Shop.
They do.
Good morning to you, ladies. Going to get this little baby airborne as soon as I can. First of all, check out Lily Allen.
Yeah. They tell you the Christian names of the other...
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Why? You don't need to know that.
I was on a British Airways flight. It was just after, about 6 weeks after 9/11, and everybody was a little bit tense, and I was flying out of New York. And very tragically, the plane directly in front of us took off and crashed. I don't know if you remember, there was a flight going out to the Dominican Republic.
Oh, yes.
And it crashed. Anyway, we all deplaned, and after about 12 hours, we were allowed back onto the flight. Anyway, the pilot came on, and he said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a delayed flight to London. I know many of you are seasoned travellers, and you probably don't watch the safety briefing, but perhaps today.
Wow! It's usually Australians. Australians get it right. I was on an Ansett flight from Perth to Adelaide, and he started off by saying, "Oh, we're on our way to Adelaide." Adelaide is not your final destination. Now would be an ideal time to deplane. And then he sort of started talking about the safety. He said, "But that's enough yakety yak from me." He said, "It's time to push some service down the aisles and some scenery past the window." It's very good. Australians are good at that kind of thing. Now, accents we were talking about there, you're absolutely right. People do like what they consider to be an authoritative and reassuring voice from a pilot. 72% of people interviewed felt at ease if a pilot had a what accent?
People like Scottish
You're
accents.
right. Edinburgh in particular. I don't think that would be very good, but a nice, respectable Edinburgh would make
Miss
you feel...
Jean Brodie.
That's
Brodie.
right,
Yeah.
yes, that would be fine.
You could sit down the plane, it would go ding-dong, you go, this is not the one about the aeroplane that crashes in the river. It's not that one. No.
What about a Geordie accent? 65% people said a Geordie accent would make them feel more or less comfortable.
He can serve the drinks.
He can serve.
I don't want him flying the plane.
Well, fun enough,
Very, very friendly.
65% said
not
they're
be
okay.
chatting too much, and then they'll just crash into us.
Oh, yeah. 65% said they don't mind a Geordie, they'd like a Geordie.
Yeah, they like that 'cause they have
popular
in
for a
call
call
centres,
centre.
don't they?
Yeah. What about Brummies? 76% said they
Oh,
would or
no,
would not
no.
like them. I'm afraid to say that they would
These
not
things
like.
you just sort of think, sounds like a victim,
Yeah.
you know? Doesn't sound incompetent, sounds unfortunate. And I think
I
that's
don't want
the
a
thing.
skilled
That's the
pilot,
thing.
I want a lucky
Well,
pilot.
Exactly. The posh voice people, he could be an idiot, but he's lucked his way through life. Then he screws all the stewardesses and his wife never finds out. Yeah, I want him flying.
And 83% of men and women polled said they'd be more likely to trust a male or a female pilot.
Oh, male,
Male.
must be.
I'm afraid so. Yeah, I'm sorry to say. There we are. So that's your flying done for the moment. Despite the stereotype of the Battle of Britain pilots being posh young chaps, fresh from the better public schools and varsities, the great majority of them were in fact state-educated.